of the African Diaspora News channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. The Kenyan government under President William Ruto has approved the implementation of digital IDs in the form of microchips for babies and citizens. I know. Now, this initiative, supported by Bill Gates and his foundation, actually aims to enhance monitoring and surveillance. Let's have a look.
The program targets the birth of new babies. So once you have your baby, before your baby leaves the hospital, you no longer get a paper birth certificate, but then you get a digital one that is somehow implanted somewhere on somebody's body. Think about that, but have a listen to this.
The digital ID, which has been a big problem to us for a very long time, is now on a testing mode for the next 2 months. I have been assured by all the stakeholders, led by the ministries concerned, that by December, we will be able to launch digital ID, where every Kenyan don't have to carry any paper, plastic or otherwise, as an ID, that they should be able to be identified digitally using their iris or their fingerprints, and we can transact without the necessity of people struggling to identify who they are. And the proudest part of it is that we don't have to spend the billions that we have spent on all the other manenos, as all of you know.
We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
Now, according to the reports, right, so the new system involves embedding microchips into digital IDs for Kenyan citizens, starting with the newborn babies. Now, the primary goal apparently is to improve national identification processes, streamline access to services, and ensure better record keeping. However, many Kenyans and international observers have actually expressed concerns over the privacy and surveillance implications. Many people argue that embedding microchips into children and adults actually raises serious questions about data security and personal freedoms.
So there you go. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem HaRachachodash. Saying double honors to our apostles and elders. Her great millstone, peace and blessings to the Lord's hopeful elect. Now you got Mr. Antiochus Epiphanes at it again. I really can't actually say his name. Between 2019 to 2021, he actually, you can find this if you can search hard enough, but he actually made an agreement with Google, and they agreed. Slovakia, they agreed to take down all negative publicity of videos with him, and that I lost tens of videos sounding an alarm on this guy. So he kind of went underground, but he's going to resurface again, and I believe this guy to be Antiochus Epiphanes and the reincarnation, at least this guy. Okay, because there was actually a video put out that the original Gill Bates that's not even the guy. And I actually saw the video. I said, I think that might be correct. So I'll say that guy with that name, I do believe that that's him. But this is more evidence that microchip is on the way, is underway. As you heard that in Kenya, they are implementing an experiment. So that right there tells you that any newborn baby born from now for the next 2 months in Kenya, they're getting chipped. Now, are you telling us that what John the Revelator saw when he saw the end of days, that nowhere in the scriptures is this written to signify and to show the significance of what's going on today. Is that really what you people are trying to say? I'm talking about to the non-believers. Yeah, but it's just like Elder Pastor said, if you can't get it, it's because you can't see it. You can't see it. It's going to have to blind you. It's going to have to hit you. It's going to come upon you like a snare. I say that because a lot of you, right, because I understand the nature of our people in Israel, just like if you go to Jeremiah chapter 42, I believe it is, a lot of you already, you don't want to believe that microchip is real because you don't want to be in a uncomfortable situation, have to given the situation of the hour the temptation was to occur. It's like if you go to Jeremiah 42, and I believe it's chapter 43 as well, where the people inquired Jeremiah to ask them of the Lord of what to do, and whatever the Lord said that they will do. And they asked him very sincerely. That's what it seemed like, because the king of Babylon was making his moves. And the Lord had already given Jeremiah an answer, because he already knew the hearts of the people, which the hearts of the people was they wanted to go, hearts of the most of the people was they wanted to go to Egypt, because they believe Egypt there it'll be safe and there they'll find no war. That's why the Lord told Jeremiah very specifically over and over again. He said, "You're gonna tell them that if they go to Egypt, they will be destroyed." And he kept saying it. Why? Because he already knew what they were thinking. And then when Jeremiah delivered that message, guess what most of them Israelites said? "Oh, the Lord did not send you to say that, Jeremiah. You just want us to go in slavery. We're going to go to Egypt where we know it's safe and without harm." So they already had their minds made up, you understand? And they inquired Jeremiah, and they were just hoping that the Lord or Jeremiah would confirm what it is that they wanted to hear in their minds anyway, so that they could be justified in doing what they want to do anyway, to seek to save their own life. So best believe a lot of these Israelites and these leaders in these groups, they very well know the possibility of what we're saying is true, or they probably already know that what it is the truth. However, because they themselves, for multiple reasons, let me come back to this. I always like to read the scripture just to show you that there's always some type of, you could say, secret disciple within the leadership of these Israelite groups. But they see that if they were to, as well as confess what we're saying, which is the truth, that they themselves would have to basically be cast out of their own positions and maybe even kicked out. And then now they would have to teach the word, on their own, and they would have to lose their position to speak the truth. And they don't want to do that because of the gifts. John chapter 12, verse 42, it says, "Nevertheless, among the chief rulers also, many believed on him. But because of the Pharisees, they did not confess him, lest they should be put out of the synagogue. For they love the praise of men more than the praise of Yahweh." So mind you, these were the chief rulers. They saw Yahweh Shai, they heard his words, they saw the miracles, and they said, "This is the man of the Lord." But then they looked to the left and they said, "Oh, those are scribes and Pharisees. I can't say nothing, because if I praise him, then they also will cast me out. I'm also going to bring some drama to my door, and I could be removed from my position. I could lose my name. I could lose this position I got. So I'm not going to say nothing. And that way I can, maintain both my name. I can maintain my position, and I can still just maintain, my position, because I love those gifts." So it said what? Because they love to praise the men more than Yahweh. So best believe a lot of them people back there, them Israelite groups back there, they're not going to confess what they know to be the truth, because then next thing you know, they're going to get kicked out. And now they got to teach, like on their own, that the mark of the beast is the chip, that the name is Yahweh Shai, and that, the whole shebang. But little do they know, they will get blessed for that. They'll get blessed for that. So best believe, the message The ones who can't see it, you can't see it. Nothing we can tell you. But the message to you ones out there who listening in the quiet, right? You got a decision to make, because Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to hold you accountable for all these things, and you got to understand this is for the sheep's sake. The sheep's sake. This devil's making this move, and you need to sound the alarm on what the truth is, because when the flood comes, this wall of lies you put up isn't going to hold. Because that's what Jake do. They surround themselves with lies. And think it's going to stand when it's not. The book of Isaiah 28:15, because ye have said, when we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. That's you Israelites. You made lies your refuge. And you believe that the closer you are in the system, and the further you distance yourself from this prophecy, the more secure you are. You know, a lot of Israelites join themselves into Egypt, and they strengthen themselves into Egypt. So they get more proud because they thinking that they can't lose, because they made a deal with Esau Edom. They have a 501c3. They're really deep into the police, and they believe that we can't be touched because we're joined into the Romans. Well, the Lord said, woe to you that increase yourself in Egypt and think and trust upon them because they're horses. No matter how high up in the society you think you are, Yahweh Yahushua can still touch you and bring you down. Nevertheless, prophecy will humble all. It will. It doesn't matter how much you naysay against what we're saying. It doesn't matter how much you speak against what the truth is. The truth of the matter is, it will come to pass. It will. So, you know, it's just gotten to the point with us. We excited that election debate, we were laughing. Because both candidates are good to run the society. Both candidates are good to bring the society to the ground. Whoever gets in that position is going to bring the society to hell. And regardless, all the main hitters are in the position they need to be in. You know, I personally believe that all the big names are back again in the flesh to play their role out. And that's why I believe that guy to be Antiochus Epiphanes. And I'll just read what I read in the scriptures to make me believe that. But look at all these people that's in these positions. You got Elon Musk. Now all of a sudden this guy's a politician. Nevertheless, who you think gave him that knowledge to achieve what he's achieved? And how is it that you got that guy and then you got this guy Antiochus Epiphanes over here? What are the things that they just so happen to have in common? They have this infatuation of chips and putting things in people's skins. Do you think that's a coincidence? That's prophecy. So we see this is at the door and we're so happy. Okay, we're extremely happy because we know it's going to come. And we're going into this, and it's the right spirit to be in, because we're going to come into this Jacob's trouble, which I believe is going to happen very, very soon. You know, with this election, you know, even the Edomites are prophesying, I say prophesying, but even the Edomites can see prophecy. They can see that they might stage something big so that there won't be an election. They want there to be chaos with the immigrant crisis so that they can't implement martial law, so they can bypass the election. Right? That's what they think. So they actually know this devil is coming to establish a new world order. He wants there to be martial law. He wants there to be chaos. All the while you have these figures in positions to execute the plan of the same thing that the prophecy is revealing. The new world order, which is the image of the beast, which is ultimately the representation of the Roman Empire system being back in place, one world government being ruled by the emperor, which in this case the wicked elite, the hand of the very small few, the international bankers, complete control. Your children belong to the state. Your children aren't yours. The LGBT agenda, all this other stuff. You will own nothing, be happy. All of that stuff ties into that image, as well as the philosophy, like I said, LGBT, all that other stuff, anti-Semitic, all that other stuff. And then you got the mark that goes with the image. To understand the mark, you got to understand the image, and to understand the image, then you will then understand the mark. The image of the beast is not Caesar Borgia, not the so-called white man. Jesus is not doing that. Nobody's talking about that. They're pushing Satanism. Okay? All this is happening right now. These figures, these people are in the positions that they need to be. And it's right smack dab in your face. It's in your face. And yet these guys still gonna gainsay and naysay. Like I said, majority of them are what? They're non-believers, but a lot of them are just afraid. Ezekiel 33, and when this come to pass, lo, it will come. Then they shall know that a prophet have been among them. So this news like this, when you hear news like this, best believe them Israelite groups looking the other way. Now we gonna pretend like we don't know nothing about that. We just gonna keep focusing on worldly things, drugs in the community and Christian pastors. So they're not prophets. They're not sounding the alarm. But best believe this information is at their doorstep. Best believe. This is the book of 2 Maccabees chapter 9, verse 1. It says, about that time it came Antiochus, and this is Antiochus the fourth, with dishonor out of the country of Persia. For he had entered the city called Persepolis, and he went about to rob the temple and to hold the city, whereupon the multitude running to defend themselves with their weapons put them to flight. And so that it happened that Antiochus, being put to flight of the inhabitants, returned with shame. Now he came to Ecbatana. News was brought unto him what happened to Nicanor and Timothy. Then swelling with anger, he thought to avenge upon the Jews the disgrace done unto him by those that made him flee. Therefore commanded he his chariot man to drive without ceasing, and to dispatch the journey, the judgment of Yahweh now following him. For he had spoken proudly in this sort, that he would come to Jerusalem and make it a common burying place of the Jews. But the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, smote him with an incurable and invisible plague. For as soon as he spoke in these words, a pain of bowels that was remediless came upon him, and sore torments of the inner parts. Now here's the part. There's the point I'm trying to make. It says, and that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowels with many and strange torments. So this guy took pleasure in experimenting on people. And when you just watch the videos regarding that guy, the gates of hell, we call them, that's exactly what he does. He enjoys experimenting on people, especially dealing with what the inner parts, injections and things of that nature. And that's where I thought, I said, that's probably that guy right there. Now, that's why I believe if he happened to be somebody else that's actually on the earth today, hey, what matters is that the guy's back. But that's just what I believe. I believe we're at the end here, and I believe that, and I pray that Yahweh Shem Yahshua recompense this guy for the same judgment as before, and put him down as he did before. Because when you go on to read, the Lord really tore this man up from the inside, and it was just judgment, because he loves to do that to other people. And he always chooses to experiment with who? With our people, or Jake. And that's exactly what he's doing again now. Okay, so the bottom line is, this is in effect. It's in effect. Revelation chapter 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, in times, and a half a time, from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. You know, that flood just represents, you could say, troops. The flood represents an onslaught. It's an attack, an aggression, a non-stop forward assault on Israel, because he knows that his time is short. That's what he's doing today. He ain't stopping. That's why there is something in the scriptures called Jacob's trouble. So the question is, if you're going to be a group that's going to try to stop the violence in the so-called black community, how do you rectify dealing with prophecy according to Jacob's trouble? As Jeremiah 30:7 says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So that he is talking about the elect. So what's Jacob's trouble all about if you're going to try to stop the violence in the black community? How do you make sense of that? You can't. It's a conflict. You're either prophets or you are men of the world. The Jacob's trouble is because the devil, when he comes down with great wrath, Jacob is the number 1 target in his sight. Because as we just read, he knows that his time is but short. So he's going to try to persecute the woman being the nation of Israel. Because Esau Edom is a sore loser. His eyes says, he knows that his birthright is sold to Jacob, and he knows that we're next. So in his eyes, I'm going to just kill all of you. And then, if my kingdom's going to be over with, then I'm going to make sure there is no world to inhabit it by the end of it. That's his attitude. Either he remains in rulership position, or there is no planet. That's why the world's being destroyed now. He's not going to accept the fact that his power is up. He's not going to allow other countries and other nations to move forward in their lives, right, with their own currency and all that. And he's supposed to what? He's supposed to what? Come up with something new and just accept the fact that he ain't the superpower on the earth no more? Hell no, he's going to make sure there is no planet. And in the midst of that, he still says, and I'm going to make sure I kill them niggas too. Niggas spicks. Kill them niggas too. Because I know who you are, and I'm not going to let you go. That's the mentality of this wicked, cruel devil, and it's important to teach that, because our people, all right, if their guard is let down, when the devil comes down with great wrath, they're not going to know how to explain it. They're just going to say this is cruel. But you got to know how to explain it. You got to say, look, he knows his time is up. He's moving in wrath and anger. And you got to be under the wing of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua if you want to be protected by it. Because it won't come nigh to you. It won't come nigh to you. If you are of the elect. Psalms 91:7. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000s at thy right side, but it shall not come nigh thee. So you actually got to be prepared to see these things. Now, you know what the scripture talk about, the canker that's going to give to those chips. So don't be surprised when you hear about these babies dying because of the cancer. And you can say, oh, that's so cruel. How could the leader do that? These are babies. You're going to see more of that. Okay? But nevertheless, just know this is true. This is implemented. This is happening in your face. And as you can see, it's happening in 2024. We'll just keep sounding the alarm and bringing it to your attention. So with that, shalom.